Hello, I'm Alan. Welcome to the Guitar Shack. So today's video is just a short one. This is about a customer's bass, Gibson SG bass that they have dropped off for a clean up. So as you can see, it's a nice old SG bass. So the story of this one is that my client's father's bass, he sadly passed away some time ago. And this was heavily used as a gigging guitar by the gentleman concerned. As you can see, his set notes there and some strings and his strap and all kinds of stuff. This is clearly a working instrument. And it needs basically to be deep cleaned. The issue with the customer's got is that it's obviously seen some action in lots of bars, smoky places, and I think the gentleman himself was probably a smoker. So it's pretty tarnished. It's seen a lot of action. It's pretty dusty, and um, it smells of the bars and the places it's been played, which is of course the mojo, but is also, you know, practical terms. If it's going to be passed on to the next generation, it needs a good clean up, and that is the plan. So the gentleman concerned is hoping to pass this on to his daughter to learn bass, which is a pretty fantastic way into it. So today I'm just going to be walking you through a kind of sympathetic deep clean to get this in good condition, without doing anything invasive to what is a vintage instrument with a nitro finish. There is an odor, definitely about it. So I'm going to clear out all the stuff out of the case. I'm going to put the case outside. It's a windy day and give it a good airing. So what have we got? Got a lead. We've got some tuners and some silicon. I've got a load of strings, which I'll have a look at. If I've got a full set, then I'll use these to restring it. If not, I've got some new strings to go on it. And we've got a pretty serious strap. That's as metal as you get, isn't it? I love it. This is brilliant. So the first thing I did was to hoover out the case, which I didn't record because I reckon that even those of you prepared to sit through me whittering on about guitars didn't actually want to see me hoovering. So I'm going to put this outside to air, and give it a good, it's a pretty windy day, so should give it a good blowout and hopefully get rid of any smells that are trapped in there. So strings off, we've got lots of dust, obviously. We've got some lovely checking on the nitro, on the headstock. We've got fairly grubby fingerboard, which needs scraping off and then feeding. The frets will need a polish. They're, I mean, you could do with a dress, but that's not something that's been discussed yet, so I'll leave that to the customer for discussion later. But in terms of getting her cleaned up and sorted out, the main thing really is be gentle and use a bit of elbow grease and a damp cloth as far as possible. I won't use anything invasive on this other than if I need to get from a degreasing point of view, I'll use a little bit of naphtha, which is completely harmless on nitro, but even so, I'll use it sparingly, not least because it's fairly unpleasant stuff. So let's get into that. So first pass is just with slightly damp cloth. Now I've got rid of all the dust with the hoover. And I'm just going to go over the whole thing, gently taking off what I can. Quite a lot of matter that's sort of caked on, so I might take a couple of passes. This is the first that is really just about taking off what I can and sort of putting a layer of damp but not wet on it just to pick up and start breaking down some of the ingrained muck. I will start disassembling it and taking the pick guard off and taking the knobs off in a minute, so we'll get underneath and get into the pickup cavities and everything. So first pass done. As you can see, there's a lot to do on the fingerboard still, but that's taken off the dust and kind of first layer of grime. So it looks a bit better already, I'd say. So here's the body stripped. Interestingly, the neck pickup is body mounted, and then there's a screw cover on it. So I'll get under there and give that a clean. And then on the bridge pickup, it's a sort of mini humbucker, and well, it mounts onto a plastic mount as normal. It's actually broken. There is, as you can see, there's the plastic pickup ring is not holding the treble side pickup screw, but it is held securely by the bass side one. Just going to get in, give it a good clean into all the cavities, and then I'll put a coat of wax on it. I'm not going to polish it, a finish like this, because I don't want to use anything invasive on it, but I'll give it a clean, a coat of wax, and then I'll put it back together, and then I'll tackle the neck. So I think that's what I can achieve with the damp cloth. So time to get in with some naphtha. So this stuff is brilliant for degreasing, and it's a very gentle solvent. It will pick up grease predominantly, but you can, there are some areas which are a bit sticky where there's grease on there which needs to come off. But it flashes off really quickly. So it basically, as soon as you put it on, it dries. So they do use it for restoration work, so it's pretty safe. On the other hand, it's reasonably nasty, so I have got gloves on for it, and I am putting my mask on for it. So I'm going to get on with cleaning, and I'll stop talking since you won't hear me, which might be an advantage anyway. So, interim report, we're getting there. So what you're seeing at the moment is the shiny parts are where I've managed to get through the grease down to the actual finish. and then you can see there's all these areas, and I can feel them when I'm cleaning. But these cloudy areas are where there's still the residue stuck on it. So this is basically the residue of cigarettes, sweat, and general unpleasantry. So I'm getting through these at a fair rate. But you can see, I mean, basically the yellow is the nicotine stain, which is coming off, um, and which is going to take me a while. But as you can see, once you get through it, as the old advert in the UK used to say, you can clean it right down to the squeak. You can see there, or you can hear there, where the the finish is still glossy underneath. So that's what I'm trying to get to. So I won't show you all of it, but this is going to take me a while. Okay, so that's the cleaning phase pretty much done. I've lifted off as much of the grime and the tar as I can get. Um, Obviously, it's an old guitar, so it's not showroom perfect, but it's in much better state now. Obviously, the fretboard is next. Um, Done the headstock, took the tuners off, so that's again clean as it's going to be. So fretboard, scrape it, and then condition it, and do the frets themselves, and then we'll be on the home straight. So that's the board cleaned. So it's all stripped back. It's had a thorough cleaning of the frets themselves and the fretboard. I've been up through the grits with the fret rubbers to shine up the frets. We'll get another going over once everything's finished. The board's pretty dry now from the naphtha, so I'm going to give that a good feed and then leave it to sit. So I'll do that, and then I think that's enough for one day. Okay, so that's been sitting there for a while, so let's just get it buffed off. I'll probably give it 2 coats of this stuff. Just wanted to get the board moisturised again after the cleaning. It's fantastic stuff, this Monty's Espresso or Monte Presso. Um, it's basically their instrument food, which is a kind of paste instrument conditioner for the fingerboard with a darkening agent, which just puts a little bit of depth of colour back in. I use it on a lot of unfinished boards, particularly fond of it on Pau Ferro, where it comes up really nicely and darkens it up. Not just one application, but a couple of applications, and leave it for a bit of time, and makes a really makes the instrument pop. Obviously, this is an original rosewood board, but it's coming up nicely. So that's got a slight sheen to it. So I'll do another application of it tomorrow. Good morning. So I'm back in action with the cleanup of the SG base. So yesterday I did all of the cleaning. So this is now as degreased and cleaned up and tar removed as it's going to get. Very careful removal of many years worth of playing out in pubs and clubs, and cleaned up the fretboard, so that's good to go. I'll give it another oiling before I string it up. Cleaned up the headstock, so that's good to go. The only other thing that I'm going to do with this is I will apply some wax just to protect the nitro. I use Axe Wax, which is silicone-free, designed for guitars, and is safe on nitro, so that will just give it a little bit of extra shine, not that it really needs much, and finish off the bodywork. The other thing that I did off camera, because my phone had died, is I cleaned up all the hardware. So again, nothing invasive. Basically stripped it all down, used lots of elbow grease and damp cloth just to remove the gunk, and very pleased with how it's all come out. It retains a lovely bit of patina, but it's clean and fresh. So that's all the cleaning done. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this bridge pickup, because as you can see, the pickup ring is broken and I don't really want to leave it flapping around in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it and I'm going to attempt to glue that little part of the pickup ring, and then I'll put it back. So here is the offending article. So as you can see the little lines where the mounting lug had, or the mounting hole and supporting plastic lug on the back had broken off, but it's pretty clean and it pops straight back in again. So that's a great candidate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make sure it's perfectly aligned, and then I'm going to wick in some thin super glue, which is going to go in and bond that, and then I'll whack it back on. But it's just a standard kind of plastic pickup ring for a humbucker. It's been silver plated and that's worn off over time. So what I'm going to do is just use some standard super glue. I don't think I need the ultra thin for this. And what I'm going to do is just use a little bit on the end of a whip tip, and then just apply it from the back and touch it in. Let that seep in. It should, hopefully, with capillary action, pull into the crack from behind. Yeah, I think you can, well, I can see it going. And then what I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to boost it with some accelerator. I'll just do another layer just for extra security. And then job's a good one. Which is not a phrase that I use, I don't know why I said that. It's just basically adding another layer of glue to the back of it, which won't be seen, but will strengthen it. And because it's already got some accelerant on it, it should pretty much kick straight away. I'll just give it another. Yeah, that seems solid. So I'm just going to leave that a few minutes and then clean it up. And in the meantime, I'll clean up the pickup. And that's that done. So I learned a long time ago that fitting pickups into pickup rings is not something you should ever do on camera. unless you were after a particularly interesting demonstration of my Glasgow vocabulary. But that's in. So on to the rebuild. So inside the cavity looks lovely and clean. I don't think that's been messed with at all. All the soldering looks nice and original. So all I'm going to do here is just give a quick squirt of cleaner inside the pots and the jack, and then zip her back together. So here's the end result. Cleaned up, set up, and ready to pass on to the next generation. And I hope that she has as much fun and enjoyment as clearly her grandfather did with this beautiful old instrument. Okay, so that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching and staying the course to this point. If you enjoyed the video, please, as always, like and subscribe. This work that I've showed today is pretty representative of the sort of thing that I do both with customer guitars and with the guitars that I prepare and sale. You can find my sale guitars on my reverb shop, which will be linked in the comments. And if you'd be interested in me working on your guitar, then please do get in touch. I'm based in Bedford. I cover the local area, and I can also arrange collection and return shipping if you're further afield from that. So drop me a line. My website is linked in the comments, but it's alansguitarshack.com. Thanks very much. See you next time.